The horror game renaissance continues with several downright terrifying titles slated to release this year and long after. Whether it's a sandbox survival horror with cannibals, an infected village, the unknown depths of the human mind, or space, there's something to scare everyone. Let's take a look at 30 horror games of 2023 and beyond. Sons of the Forest. Instead of a full release, Night Games' survival horror sandbox sequel is launching into Steam Early Access on February 23rd to add more features over time and get feedback from the community. There's already tons to look forward to with this launch, whether it's the map that's 4 times larger than the first game, AI companions, revamped building mechanics, or all the little secrets. Even if it needs more time to be fully complete, Sons of the Forest should be an incredible experience when it arrives later this month for PC. Amnesia: The Bunker. The Amnesia series is renowned for its linear horror, but Amnesia: The Bunker is going in a completely different direction. Trapped in a World War I bunker with amnesia, you must escape while simultaneously avoiding the creature hunting you. This time the world is semi-open, with some randomization thrown in as you navigate traps, scavenge for resources, and take advantage of physics to survive. The sandbox approach is intriguing, and we can't wait to see the terrors it produces when Amnesia: The Bunker launches on May 16th for Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Scarlet Hollow. Developed by Black Tabby Games and currently in Steam Early Access, Scarlet Hollow is a visual novel that hinges on your choices. As you return to the Holler to attend your aunt's funeral, it becomes clear that something is off. Depending on your starting perks, you can be adept at lying, physically overcoming obstacles, or talking to animals, with each opening up new choices that change the story. With 4 out of 7 episodes available and the final episode planned for next year, Scarlet Hollow is an unsettling experience that you can't help but sink deeper into. Dead Space. Out now for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC, Motive Studios' Dead Space is already a Game of the Year contender. Based on Visceral's 2008 sci-fi horror classic, it sees Isaac Clarke descending into nightmarish madness on the Ishimura. Featuring new content, revamped visuals that look incredible, the intensity director for random horrors, and numerous quality-of-life features, Dead Space is an incredible journey for both new and returning players. Dead Island 2. After multiple years of delays and 2 developers, with Dambuster Studios of Homefront: The Revolution now in charge, Dead Island 2 finally looks to release on April 28th. Set in California, which suffered a zombie outbreak and strict quarantine, you control 6 playable slayers with enhanced abilities thanks to the virus. The mission? Escape while bashing, slashing, and annihilating hordes of zombies. If a procedural gore system and lots of violence sound good, Dead Island 2 may be worth checking out when it launches for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC. Alan Wake 2. Despite confirming that Alan Wake 2 is on track for its 2023 release on Xbox Series, PS5, and PC, Remedy Entertainment has said nothing about the premise or even shown any gameplay. One thing is for sure, this will be the developer's first survival horror game and its biggest project to date. Now we just need to see some gameplay and get a release date. Layers of Fears. Layers of Fears purports to build on the foundations of its predecessors with a new story while using Unreal Engine 5 for ray tracing, HDR, and 4K resolution visuals. It promises to be the definitive way to discover the stories of artists enslaved by their obsessions. Whatever that may mean, it's once again a first-person psychological horror title, and the painter's spouse from the first game seems to play a role. Layers of Fears launches in early 2023 for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Years of rumors later, Konami finally confirmed that Bloober Team is working on a Silent Hill game. And not just any game, but a remake of the legendary Silent Hill 2, developed on Unreal Engine 5 and boasting heavily revamped visuals. It also features improvements to the combat, controls, and enemy AI. However, it retains the same story and promises a faithful adaptation that fans will enjoy. Silent Hill 2 doesn't have a release date, but it's coming to PS5 as a one-year console exclusive and PC. Silent Hill Townfall. Not much is known about Silent Hill Townfall aside from being published by Annapurna Interactive and developed by No Code of Stories Untold fame. The first game is reportedly part of an anthology, with creative director John McKellen revealing that it respects the source material while doing something a little bit different with it, whatever that means. Unreal Engine 5 is being used, and more details are coming this year, so stay tuned. Silent Hill F. As the next mainline title in the Silent Hill franchise, Silent Hill F takes place in rural Japan in the 1960s. Little else is known aside from Neobard's Entertainment of Resident Evil Resistance infamy developing it. Ryukishio 7 is the writer, and there probably isn't a better choice given how good the Higurashi and Umineko visual novels are. Silent Hill F doesn't have a release date or platforms, so strap in for a long wait. SLITTERHEAD. From the mind of Silent Hill creator Keiichiro Toyama comes an altogether new but cryptic horror experience. SLITTERHEAD is a third-person action horror title set in a fictional city inspired by Hong Kong in the 1980s and 90s. There are yakushi, creatures that imitate humans, roaming about and contributing to the body horror quotient. But how exactly does the game explore life and death? Time will tell, and it may be soon, as Toyama revealed earlier this year that production is nearing its climax. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. Chernobyl has always been frightening, with its irradiated landscape and desolate ruins, but Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl leverages that into something beautiful. There are still terrifying mutants and unexplained phenomena, not to mention fellow and hostile stalkers. The zone is full of secrets and artifacts, and you'll need to take advantage of multiple weapon types to have a chance at survival. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl is slated to release by the end of June for Xbox Series X and S and PC, and looks as hauntingly compelling as ever. Resident Evil 4. Years later, the time has finally come for Resident Evil 4 to receive the remake treatment. The visuals look darker, lending to a more macabre atmosphere, but the game has changed in numerous other ways. More rooms, new enemy types, a new weapon, expanded orders for Ashley, more combat options, multiple knives, the list goes on and on. However, that same charm remains, and we can't wait to venture back into the nightmare as Leon when Resident Evil 4 launches on March 24th for Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. The Dark Pictures, Directive 8020. Season 2 of Supermassive Games' The Dark Pictures anthology kicks off with Directive 8020. A release date and platforms have yet to be announced, but it's on a spaceship called the Cassiopeia in the Cetus constellation. Though seemingly looking for a new home for humanity, things go wrong, with at least one crew member trying to kill another for unknown reasons. Hopefully it expands on the previous game's mechanics while delivering on its intriguing premise. State of Decay 3. State of Decay 3 made its cinematic debut for Xbox in 2020 and has received no updates or gameplay ever since. Blame it on mismanagement at Undead Labs or poor working conditions, with the team not even aware of what the full game would have. Nevertheless, with things seemingly improving, the sequel should be on track and hopefully able to live up to its legacy. Here's hoping we see it sometime soon. Overdose. The oft-rumored, oft-leaked horror title from Kojima Productions features Margaret Qualley in what seems to be a leading role. Except for those scant few details and the title, there's almost nothing known about Overdose. Maybe we'll learn more this year, but it should be an incredible trip regardless. Slay the Princess. The objective in Slay the Princess is simple. You're a hero who travels to a solitary cabin in the woods and must slay the princess inside. Sounds simple, or so the narrator likes to say, but an inner voice raises doubts. Depending on your choices, things take a turn for the weird, and that's before unintentionally causing a cascading series of parallel timelines with one of many possible decisions. Slay the Princess is currently slated for release this year on PC. Fort Solis. A third-person sci-fi horror thriller starring Roger Clark and Troy Baker. That's Fort Solis at a glance, and the innards are only more intriguing. As Jack Leary, players venture to Fort Solis on Mars in response to an alarm, only to find the base gone dark. Exploring the location and gathering audio logs and surveillance footage is important to find out what happened, but things worsen as the night progresses. Fort Solis boasts no camera cuts, loading times, or HUD, and should serve as a more cerebral time of horror when it launches this summer for PC. Post-Trauma. An homage to old-school horror with its fixed camera angles, Post-Trauma is about Roman, a train conductor trapped inside a strange reality. To escape, he'll need to explore and solve puzzles while avoiding terrifying creatures. It all sounds pretty typical, but the visual presentation, coupled with options for tank controls and requiring a notepad, presumably to keep track of gathered information, helps it stand out. A release date isn't confirmed, but Post-Trauma will be coming to PC and consoles. Cryospace. A sci-fi survival horror where the protagonist has to fight for their life. It sounds like Dead Space, but Cryospace has some interesting things going on. Waking up aboard the starship Ascendancy with numerous colonists and cryogenic sleep, you're a maintenance worker trying to unravel an unexpected disaster. Explore the ship, ensuring the oxygen and battery supplies are topped off while either fighting or fleeing from dangerous creatures. Even more interesting is that you can wake up other colonists to help out if they choose, but you'll need to consider the remaining oxygen. Cryospace is currently in development for PC and coming later this year. Negative Atmosphere. But wait, there's another horror title set on a spaceship or void ship, which sees the protagonist having to slay their mutated crew. Negative Atmosphere is a third-person experience, though, with Chief Medical Officer Samuel Edwards fighting through the TRH Rosanov after an outbreak. The twist here is using medication for different purposes. Whether it's influencing enemies, buffing himself, or helping other survivors, every decision affects his mind and the story, presumably. Negative Atmosphere is coming to PC with a release date yet to be announced. Ad Infinitum. Ad Infinitum is a first-person horror game and features a German soldier haunted by nightmares of World War I. This manifests in otherworldly creatures, traps, and puzzles as the player must utilize stealth to survive. In addition to historically accurate equipment and environments, the world changes based on your decisions. Ad Infinitum will launch on April 20th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, with more details coming at the next Nacon Connect in March. Alone in the Dark. The number of botched sequels that Alone in the Dark has seen, never mind the horrible Uwe Boll film, is truly something to behold. Nevertheless, the upcoming reimagination from Pieces Interactive looks promising. In development since 2019, it's coming to Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC, and features the return of Edward Carnby after being contacted by Emily Hartwood to find her missing uncle. The two explore Derceto Manor and discover terrifying realms and creatures. Promising a return to the roots of psychological horror with minimal ammo, Alone in the Dark could herald a revival for the series. Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse Remaster. Following the successful re-release of Maiden of Black Water, Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is next. It releases on March 9th for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, 5, and PC, and Nintendo Switch. The focus is on Misaki, Ruka, and Madoka venturing back to the island of Rogetsu 10 years after being kidnapped. You'll fight evil spirits with the camera obscura, but it's a slower-paced horror adventure overall. The remaster features improved visuals, snap mode, i.e. photo mode, and some additional costumes. Dark Moonlight. Phobias can heavily affect one's life, but for Dave Kellerman, they could be his end. In Dark Moonlight, the protagonist goes in for treatment for various phobias, but finds himself in another world, with limited ammo and supplies while monsters roam. Along with puzzles and a mystery to solve, it promises AAA visuals and an immersive feel of horror. Ill. Inspired by The Thing, Team Clout's first-person shooter survival horror Ill leans into body horror with real-time transformations. It's all very well detailed, almost sickeningly so thanks to Unreal Engine 5, and features like ragdolling, dismemberment, and more only add to this. Ill doesn't have platforms or a release date yet, so we'll need to wait for more updates. GREYHILL Incident. Amid all of the different horror games with monsters, ghosts, and demons, someone at Refugium Studios thought, but what if X-Files style aliens? Set in the early 90s in GREYHILL, average guy Ryan Baker is en route to save his neighbor amid growing paranormal activities. There's a fair bit of sneaking, investigating, and shooting as you try to uncover the conspiracy surrounding the Greys. GREYHILL Incident is coming to PC, PlayStation, and other consoles in Q2 of 2023. Aftermath. 101 Games' Aftermath is a sci-fi open-world title with a dash of post-apocalyptic, psychological horror and zombies. Sort of. As Charlie Gray, who struggles after a failed re-entry to Earth, players explore a doomed world that seems to be occurring in her mind to find her daughter. There are aliens to fight, with a more powerful foe haunting Charlie at every turn, resources to gather and items to craft, though more details are needed. Aftermath doesn't have a release date, but it's coming to Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. Wronged Us. A lot is going on in Delusional Studios' Wronged Us, a cinematic horror game inspired by the world and NPC quest design of Dark Souls, the atmosphere of Silent Hill, and the gameplay of Resident Evil. The gameplay teaser fits the vibe of the latter two, with players free to explore the world and converse with affected citizens. It was cited as very early in development back in November of 2021, but plans to release in 2023 for consoles and PC. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. From the publisher of Friday the 13th, the game, comes another asymmetrical multiplayer horror title with Sumo Digital at the helm. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based on the original 1974 film, as players control a member of the Slaughter family, including Leatherface, or the victims as they attempt to escape. Again, there's no release date, but it is coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC, along with Game Pass. That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos every single day. After subscribing, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, right here on GamingBolt.